Hey ladies, welcome to A Black Queen's Journey. It has been 3 weeks since my last video. I don't have no excuse. I would kinda say I had to figure out my time management. Baby, video, quiet, eat. Okay. So, I needed to work on my time management, that's what I've been doing. But neither here nor there. A Black Queen's Journey is a channel that celebrates life, love, and motherhood. This is part 3 of the anxiety series, the last and final part. And this video is dedicated to paranoia. It is a huge part of anxiety because sometimes being paranoid about something can create an anxiety attack. It does happen a lot. If you have anxiety, you know what I mean. My anxieties that I deal with now on a daily today, I think one of them is new because it came from COVID. Basically, since this COVID thing has been going on, I don't like being in huge crowds. It is really hard for me to be around a whole lot of people because I'm like, okay, I don't want it. I don't want my kid to have it. I don't want my family to be exposed to it. I don't want any of it. So even though I have on my mask and I'm constantly washing my hands, I'm very cautious about how many people I'm around at one time. Which kind of sucks because I miss going to the comedy shows and concerts and things like that. But it's like I'm willing to miss out on those things until they figure out a better solution to this COVID thing. So that's a no-go for me right now. But my main consistent thing that causes me paranoia constantly is my driving. It started when I was about 16, 17. I started playing around with learning how to drive. And I was driving and I hit a curb. And it shook me pretty good because like the car went up on a curb. So at that moment I'm like, well, maybe I'm not ready yet. I'm only 16, I got time. Fast forward to about 21. Yeah, I was about 21 at the time. And I, at that time, had never learned how to drive. Don't ask me why, because I really don't know. It just, I guess that incident at 16 really did something to me more than I realized. So this particular day, one of my friends asked me to drive her grandmother's car around the corner from where we were. Well, not from where we were, but from where the auto shop was. Basically, her grandmother's house is right here, auto shop right here. She had to drive her car, and I would drive her grandmother's car to her grandma's house. Literally like a 5-minute drive. So I said to myself, okay, I'm cool with that. Now, I was hesitant at that moment to tell people that I didn't know how to drive because I was embarrassed by it. But I'm like, okay, I can drive around the corner. Like, that ain't nothing. Yeah, so I got into a horrible accident. Now, this is how the accident happened. When we pulled up to the corner, it was, you look, you turn right. What I did was, I got nervous, my anxiety was up, and instead of turning, I like hit the gas. Why? I don't know. I can't tell you why. hit the gas, jumped the curb, went through a gate, went through the bottom of this lady's house. A tree went through the car and like was right here. Like I almost had the tree go through my eye. My head hit the steering wheel. The front of the car came down on my legs. Like it was terrible. I literally could have died. Literally. It shook me. I was shaking. I was crying. I actually tried to get out of the car, and people were stopping. And because I was near like a main street, and they were stopping in out of their cars, yelling like, "Don't get out of the car." We called the police. You know, an ambulance, police show up. My friend shows up. She's crying. She's screaming. She's like, "Oh my God, you could have died." Like it looked worse than what it was. I was okay, but if you seen the accident outside looking in, you'd be like, "Oh my God, she's probably dead." You know what I mean? But thankfully I came out of the accident with a swollen eye, and like I had a limp, like my foot was hurting real bad. So that was in 2010. Yeah. So definitely wasn't driving nothing after that. Like, no, I'm cool. Obviously, my anxiety is not a lot. Well, I won't say anxiety because I didn't know what I had. But I was scared. In my mind, I kept saying I'm scared. The next accident, okay? Accident number 2. In the car with my ex-boyfriend, we're at a red light. This guy literally, apparently he fell asleep at the wheel, hits us from the back to where the back seat comes and pushes us forward, and like my head hits the glass, like the front shoulder window. So now airbags came, things like that. But basically another accident where I could have died. I did not have my seatbelt on. I ended up with like a cut, like across my eye, like that, like a little small gash. But again, by the grace of God, walked out from the accident. So within a year and a half, I had 2 really bad car accidents. And I just was like, I'm over driving. It's not for me. But I also, in my head, was like, I don't want to not drive myself. I want to be able to get in the car and go where I please. But I could not convince my anxiety, convince myself that I was okay with driving. So I just didn't. I had moments from that time to now where I drove a little bit here and there. But I'm finally at a point in my life where I can drive and not be scared. And actually, I'm a pretty decent driver too, had not been trained. But that experience, now that I'm in the process of learning, you know, going through getting your temps and getting your license and all that stuff, I realized it was just anxiety. That's what was keeping me from doing it. It all makes sense now that I'm older and I understand my mental health. And what I have to say from that is, with paranoia, don't let it control your life completely. And that's what I did. I lost 10 years of not driving, or not trying to drive, or not practicing driving or anything, because I was paranoid, thinking about an accident, thinking about somebody hitting me, thinking about hitting somebody else, thinking about, oh, well, I'm not going to drive fast enough, I can't keep up with traffic. I had all these excuses on why I shouldn't do it. Also, throughout the years, people I told, many ex-boyfriends, friends, family, a lot of them made fun of me. Not all. I take that word back. But a lot of people made fun of me, and still do. I'll go places, and if that person been knowing me for a long time, they'll say, "Oh, you driving yet?" And that's simply because, and that would make me mad. At one time I used to get mad. I used to cuss people out. Like, don't ask me that. Da, da, da. I don't do all that now. Because at the end of the day, if you want to ask me, that's fine. I'll answer you. No, I'm not. I'm still learning. And I'm fine with that. I'm no longer embarrassed by it. I don't care. You can make all the jokes you want to. Those kind of things used to really, really get to me. But I no longer care. I'm not going to sit there and argue with you about how I feel for me. I'm doing that. I'm taking my time for me. Don't nobody have to drive but me. You don't have to never get in my car. But I still have to drive myself and I have to drive my kid. So I have to make sure mentally I'm prepared for that. And that's all that matters. So it's like, my advice on paranoia is to kind of gradually face it. Face your fears. Face what's making you paranoid. I don't care if, excuse me, I'm sorry. I don't care if it's talking to somebody that you needed to talk to 10 years ago, you haven't talked to them yet. I don't care what it is. Slowly, gradually prepare yourself to face it. Because at the end of the day, you got to get it out. If you don't, it'll just sit in there and kind of eat you up. And you don't want that to happen. So try your best to work on it. And take your time. It's no rush. Like, no matter what people are saying or what jokes they're making or whatever, everybody got an issue. Everybody got something they're scared of. Even if it's simply, oh, I'm scared of dying. It's something that you're scared of. And I think people tend to forget about that when they think it's something small. Like, to a lot of people, me not learning how to drive is stupid. Like, oh, what you mean you don't know how to drive? Maybe driving don't scare you, but it scares me. So instead of being understanding and considerate of what I'm going through, they make a joke out of it and laugh at me and tell me, oh, you would never drive. Oh, you gonna always be driving with your sister, driving with your dude. Like, you got to get out of that. I let it go one ear and out the other at this moment in my life, because I'm fine with having anxiety. I'm fine with having paranoia, and I'm a work in progress. And I'm working on being a better me, a better person, a better mom, a better woman, a better wife, whatever. I'm working on all my titles. But at the end of the day, you got to do what's best for you and take your time with it. Because if you rush it, you will make a mistake out of it. Don't rush it. Whatever you need to do, just take your time. Take things one day at a time, literally. And I think that's my little, what word I want to use, y'all? Piece of advice. That's my piece of advice for today. Thank you for watching this series. If you've watched all 3 parts, thank you so much. If you have not and you only seen this part, go back, because the other 2 are on the channel. But please, please like, comment, and subscribe, and just continue watching. Come join me if this is your first time. Look out, because I'm putting more video out. I'm getting better at this content thing. I'm gonna get a time schedule eventually. It'd be rough, but I'm gonna get it together. But thank y'all, and I hope y'all enjoy the rest of y'all week. I love y'all so much. Bye.